God's evening, and welcome to the channel. We finally figured it out. This back office. I'm your host, Cassandra Brand, aka Miss Alexis, and tonight is a very special night. I hope that all is well with everyone and you all can hear me because last time I did a whole show and the audio wasn't even on. Okay. But I still don't give up. So, this is the story of my life. And I just want to check and make sure that the comment page is up because I would love interaction. If you get anyone in here, that's fine. If not, it will be up for replay as well. I invited a couple of people. Hopefully, they'll show up. Or someone who really needs to hear this will stroll down and stop. And if you do, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share. I'm reading from my volume 3, The Purpose of My Closure, and the books are available for purchase on Amazon. That's The Purpose of My Closure. You see the book right up there on the screen. And if you want to get the other volumes, they're very reasonable. They're soft covered and they're quick reads. So I'm sure you will get some value out of it and you'll find some things that you may be able to relate to because I get some good response and good reviews, and I'd be surprised that so many people have experienced some of the things in my books in their lives. It's amazing. That's why if you have a story, I encourage you to not only tell it, but write it, document it. If you've got this gut feeling you should write a book, just write a book. Just start journaling or get a recorder. And when the thoughts and memories come, just record it and then go back and you can just type it up and write it up. So today we're going to start over. Make sure that the audio is on. Checking. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Checking. I see that the volume is on and we have everything up and running, and even the comment page. So if you want to tell me where you're coming from, if you want to respond to something that I'm sharing with you, please feel free. So we're going to start over, and it's gonna take a while. I'm not going to rush through it. I try not to do more than 20 or 30 minutes, but I believe you deserve more than that. So we're at least going to do the introductory and a chapter of The Purpose of My Closure, Volume 3. You come in, just let me know when you come in, and just say hello or just say what city or state that you are calling, that you are listening in from. I would appreciate it so I won't feel like I'm reading to myself. Okay, so we're going to start off with my introductory. Now, I wrote this book in 2014. 2014 by Cassandra Brand, aka Miss Alexis. All rights, no part of this book may be reproduced, stored, or in a retrieval system or transmitted in any form or by any means without the priorly written permission or the publisher except by a review who may quote brief passing in a review to be printed in a newspaper, magazine, or journal. Okay, so please, you can share this session, but don't try to reprint it and rewrite it and rescript it because you haven't lived it. This is my story. Okay. All right. So the introduction. This is the third volume of The Purpose of My Closure, subtitled The Open Doors into a Journey of Hell. And it is now 1985. Cassandra Brand has left her hometown, Buffalo, New York, in pursuit to find a better life in New York, New York. When she arrived, her eyes were open and she entered into an underground world she knew nothing about. But through fear and desperation, she needed a way to survive. So she quickly got with the program and learned to master it. In this volume, she shares how she began working in a peep show on 42nd and 8th Avenue in New York with some of the most legendary porn stars as co-workers that enhanced her imagination on becoming a star. Also, how she accidentally built an empire for herself in the adult industry. She was considered a goddess to many men and women. Warning, this book is verbally graphic. It takes the definition of fetish and freaks out of the box into an underground world that should leave you speechless. Excuse me, that will leave you speechless. At this point, Cassandra Brand no longer exists. Alexis had completely taken over, and Sandy was totally lost. Sandy is my nickname, my childhood name. Cassandra is my government name, and Alexis, Miss Alexis, is my street stage name. Excuse me. I still cough a lot. The special dedication of Volume 3. This book is not just for Christians. This book is for the young ladies lying on their back right now. This book is for the want to be pimps who thinks they have it going on. This book is for the dope pushers who have poisoned our communities. This book is for the ministers who has seduced our purity. This book is for the corporate men or women who think no one knows or understands their secret fetish. This book is for the perverts living next door. This book is for the tricks, Johns, and sugar daddies. The females and males who have identity gender issues. This book is for the freaks to become freak and freak to be freaks. If you weren't, you wouldn't have listened this far. This book is for the rich and the poor, the saved, unsaved, and backsliders. This book is for users, accusers, mentally, emotionally, and physical abusers. However, you choose to classify yourself, you will find yourself in this book. And everyone who was lost can be found. This book is to bring new life to a diverse people. Note. Now, I note things because I intervene in my writing. I have used this dedication consistently because this is who the volume of books is written for. My objective goal for closure has not wavered. It is vitally important that I emphasize on the chosen audience in order to fulfill my purpose. And you, and you, and you are my audience. And if you like and share with someone that it may bring value to, it's for them as well. Now, I like to give an acknowledgement to, excuse the ambulance going by the house. I live on a corner and I get all the traffic and everything. All the ambulance, rescue squads, police. But we're not going to let that stop us. We're going to continue. And I hope that everyone can hear me clearly. Okay. Now, the acknowledgments is Wash King from a small town, Eden, North Carolina. He has taught me how to love unconditionally and to allow myself to be loved unconditionally. R.I.P. to Mr. Wash King. Greetings. Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any men hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me. I was called to write these books while driving down I-85 northbound July 31st, 2008, approximately 10:30 p.m., and I heard the Spirit of the Lord say to me, now is time to write your book, and I want you to name it Closure. I looked through the rear mirror to see if someone was in the back seat when I looked next to me because I felt a peaceful presence from the Lord. Some of you may not believe that God speaks to us. It's true. How can you tell? It's a soft, gentle voice with a peaceful, pure presence, with a warm confidence in your heart. When God speaks, you will know it. How do I know when God is speaking to me? Is what you ask. I will ask you a question. If it doesn't line up with his word, then it's not of him. The truth will make you free. Sometimes things may sound right, or you may even reason in your own mind that it's of God, but his word is uncompromising and it will never change. We may want to satisfy our circumstances, but it is only the truth that will make us free and give us closure. To all who have an ear to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, God has anointed me to write this book. I have been called to share everything and holding nothing back. My objective goal is to expose the works of the devil's underground operations and his kingdom of darkness while informing and inspiring you of God's faithfulness and love through it all. Now, the purpose of my closure is for the many doors in my life that has been opened, revolving, cracked, and slammed shut. I began writing in my first volume in my childhood to create the bigger picture, how it began for me. Then as a teenager growing up into womanhood, developing into an adult full of responsibilities, I could never understand why it took me so long to get to this point. God has given me a revelation. It was because I had no closure in my life. Now, as I continue to read this, I'm going, like I said, when I have a note, it's just an intervention and what I'm sharing with you with my story. Note, when you have no closure, you become opened and subjected to any and everything happening to you in life. Not forgiving others or yourself is one of the most dangerous things not to have closure with. My friend Jean used to always say to me, I was vulnerable. I honestly didn't understand. I really didn't. I was vulnerable. I didn't understand exactly what he meant. There were so many doors that have remained open and even inherited as generational curses. I never understood why I was living the lifestyle I lived, having the knowledge of the anointing and calling on my life I carried since I was a child, or while I was living the total opposite of what God had for me. Welcome. Welcome, listener. If you come in, just type and let me know what state you are watching from. Thank you. Continuing reading. Please understand this and meditate on it. We all were born in corruption, but when we don't acknowledge God, that pushes us down into corruption, which becomes living hell here on earth. We don't have to wait to die to go to hell. We could be spiritually dead here on earth and be in hell. All right, we have Texas in the house. Now I have a scripture that's in my book, Romans 1:26-32. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affection, for even their women did change their natural use, which is against nature. And I put in parentheses adult entertainment. That is against the natural nature of a woman. And also verse 27. And likewise, also the men leaving the natural use of the woman burned into their lust, leaving one towards another. Then with men working that which is unseemly, identity, gender issues, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was met. And even as they did not like to retain God and their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to those things which are not convenient, being fouled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, and whisper backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boaster of evil things, disobedient to parents, covenant breakers, without natural affections, without understanding, implacable, unmerciful. I am speaking about a reprobated mind. Now, this right here is not in the book. I'm just intervening. A reprobated mind, I was always told, God will turn you over to a reprobated mind. He will take his hands off your life. And so I grew up believing that. But actually, I just described what reprobated mind really means. And to nip it all in the bud, reprobated mind is when you don't acknowledge God. It pushes you down to hell. When you don't acknowledge God, it pushes you down to hell. Now, you might catch that on the way home, but that is facts. Now, continuing, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. And I wrote a note saying that this is called the living dead. You have people walking around here on earth and they're just existing, they're not living. They are actually the living dead, especially when they don't acknowledge God. Romans 1:26-32, which I just shared with you about being turned over to a reprobated mind. That is by acknowledgement and my introductory. So now we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of these things. Chapter 1, Doors of Bondage. I, Cassandra Brand, aka Miss Alexis, I'm now 48 years old. It's the year of 2014. I have shared the first 20 years of my life of how it began for me, leading me into open doors filled with darkness, deceit, betrayal, self-destruction, and revolving doors I thought was success, but haven't taken me anywhere but into doors of bondage. I was just like the child from Israel, wandering in the wilderness, living in bondage and total disobedience. I entered through the door of pornography when I was 14 years old. One of my clients, Don Muggan, picked me up off of Maine and Virginia area, where Beg Reed took me to work the streets. Don Muggan was the first who started taking nude and seductive photos of me. Now, this is going to get a little graphic, so if you're uncomfortable, you are welcome to remove yourself from this session because this is going to share with you how I really even began in the adult industry. It wasn't like I was 20 and just got into it. I started at age 14. So Munkin was the first who started taking nude and seductive photos of me. He asked me to put my hair into two ponytails with ribbons and had me lick and suck on a lollipop while wearing bright red lipstick. My breast was perky with very large areolas. He also performed oral sex on me and took pictures of my clitoris. There's no telling what he done with the photos. I believe he sold them to magazine publishing companies because he had a huge collection of porn magazines and movies. People think that the porn industry is so hard to tap into. The truth is, all you need is a willing body to become remote. He asked me to look at porn while he performed oral sex on me. You ask, how did that make me feel? Addictive. Yes, it did. This is an example of open doors of bondage that lead into a living nightmare. It makes you feel like you never want to wake up because it's a world of pleasure to your eyes, mind, body, and soul. It makes you feel good for a second, but the consequences are very dark and misleading. So don't you dare turn your nose up to me. This is why our younger generation is so promiscuous. They are being introduced to all kinds of perverted sexual activities, having no one to talk to them, to talk about these things, because either it's being ignored, made to feel ashamed or think it's bad behavior. Personally, my belief is the bed is not defiled between husband and wife, but when it's done with a child or someone who is not your significant other, it's perverted. Again, no. Teenagers, adults, male and female today, with social media, texting, and computers, you can make a bad choice that would change your life forever. Don't post, trade, or send nude photos of any kind. I have photos that are still floating in cyberspace I have taken years ago. One day, I got a phone call from a client, and he told me someone was using my picture with their phone number for escort service. It can happen just like that. There are no returning photos back to its rightful owner without a copyright. Fortunately, in this case, I did reserve the rights to my photos. I contacted the advertising company and provided them with proof of copyrights, and the young lady's advertisement was discontinued. But this took me years of experience and being cautious where I used my photos. In 1985, when I arrived in New York City, I was 20 years old. The first thing I noticed was the busy traffic and people while I walked through Times Square, looking up at all the tall buildings and bright lights, people walking fast in piles with pale faces as if they haven't seen sunshine in years, with dark circles under their eyes. I was amazed. I asked myself, why these people look like this and walking so fast, going nowhere? Years later, I was looking and walking just like them. Even though I was from New York myself, this city was on a total different level. than upstate New York. Cars were bumper to bumper, bums laid on the side of the streets and begged for money and food. I felt sorry for them and gave money to whoever asked for it. Wasn't just black or white. It was all kind of people from different countries and nationalities. Until one day I was standing in line at the bank and noticed one of the beggars I gave money to almost every day while walking through the Port Authority bus station on my way to look for work. She was standing in line holding a saving register book, making a deposit. She was a black woman and having rags for clothing with her head wrapped up. Bags were sitting on the floor next to her. She looked like she hasn't bathed in days, maybe weeks. I said to myself, wow, she has a bank account just like me. And at the same bank, I was standing in the customer service line, but she was in the VIP customer service line. Since then, I stopped giving money to anyone. I learned fast that in order for me to survive in New York, I must stay focused and unattached. Yes, this is when I first got to New York. And that's chapter 1. That's the door. When I entered New York and went through that tunnel, I entered into bondage. Now, chapter 2, Show World Theater, 42nd and 8th Ave. I'm going to read chapter 2, and then we're going to read chapter 3 tomorrow because I don't want to make this too long or too lengthy because I want you to allow for this to marinate in your ear. And it looks like chapter 2 is it's a little long. So we'll just go over what we just read about chapter 1. Does anyone have any questions, any response, any feedback you'd like to share? The platform is open. Okay. Well, let's reiterate. New York is not like it used to be. My daughter makes sure she lets me know. But it was something else. It really was. And now it's not so much change, it's just that they do it in private settings. Because tomorrow when we read about 42nd Show World, which is on 42nd and 8th Avenue, I'm going to try to get some pictures and make a slide so you can have an idea or can relate about 42nd and 8th Avenue at Show World, which is still there. It's a historical building worth millions of dollars. And the owner refuses to sell. And there are apartments above this historical Show World. So I couldn't imagine the spiritual things that the people that live there are experiencing, if you know what I mean. But we read chapter 1 today, and we'll read chapter 2 tomorrow, like I said. If you have gotten any value from listening, or you're able to relate anything that you heard, like I said, please leave a comment in the comment box. Like and share. And if you feel like you're getting any value out of this, please subscribe. It's for free. Thanks for listening in. I appreciate you taking the time out. Now, let's see. Now, this is all new to me, so y'all be patient. Let me give myself an applause. You like that? I like it too. Okay. So for now, we're going to say, see you later. No goodbyes. Ciao.